We've reached the 1-year anniversary of Animal Crossing New Horizons, and what a year it's been. Ahoy folks, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host Tris, and I'm joined by both Chris and Matthew to discuss everything Animal Crossing over the last year, and maybe touch upon the future of the game as well. So, to jump right into this, what do you guys think about the game now that we've reached 1 year since its release?
I love New Horizons, and I loved it since I first got it back in March 20th of 2020, and I still love it now. I do have to admit, I don't play it as much as I did, not nearly as much as I did those first few months, and not even as much as I did for, the 6-7 months after that. I've really kind of dropped off with the game, and that's, it's nothing about the game on its own. I just think that, it only held my attention for so long. And we'll get into that, in the discussion, talking about which events really jumped out and kept me and kept us engaged. But overall, I still really love New Horizons. It was my game of the year last year. So, great game. I really love it. I'm excited to talk specifically about kind of the year and reflect on it and, talk about the holidays and stuff. I think this will be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, I've actually been playing ever since its release date, and I haven't missed a single day. I've been playing every single day to some level.
That is impressive. I'm
not saying playing all day long, of course, but at least an hour a day. A lot of it is because of some of the GameXplain stuff, especially Melodies of Gaming, which I host. I'm also the creator of Melodies of Gaming, and just getting prepared for music-related stuff. Because as a musician for GameXplain, I'm also doing a lot of that stuff too and analyzing the music, and there's a lot to do with that. And then plus I've been playing, I remember playing City Folk and stuff. So City Folk, actually I played Wild World, City Folk, New Leaf, and now this, and Pocket Camp, but that's not one of the mainstream games. Yeah.
It's certainly kept up to date like one though. I still hear people talk about that pretty often.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing it so far, but it has a lot of pros and cons. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, I guess to give my thoughts on the 1 year. I also really love Animal Crossing New Horizons. I think it's incredibly charming, and like Chris, I've also kind of dropped off in recent months, but it always kind of works like a wave for me. Usually, I'll be on it for going off of when it came out, I was on it for 3 months, nonstop.
Yeah.
Pretty much doing it at least the hour a day. And then I kind of dropped off for about a month and a half. Then I came back for about 2 months. Then I kind of dropped off again for about a month. So I'm in that kind of lull right now, where I was around January, I was still playing actively. And I kind of dropped off around February, and I'm still kind of trying to get back into it now to at least grab the Mario items. But I think April is going to be when it starts to pick back up again for me, going off my usual trend.
Yep. It is strange how that works. I'm the same way. It's definitely gone in kind of waves for me. I've been really into it for a couple months, and then not so much for a couple months, and it's picked back up. And I think for me that's part of because the game released at kind of a strange time, which is something we've talked about before on GameXplain discussions. It released in March, and right after that came Bunny Day, a holiday. But then, for a decent chunk of time after that, there weren't any more holidays. It wasn't until, October, November that we got into the holiday season. And so there was kind of that lull, but people stayed engaged for a long time throughout that because the game was still new. But by the time, the holiday season came, it's some people got back into it, but it wasn't enough to get others. It's pretty interesting kind of how that all worked for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting to see though how this applies even to people who don't actively play video games. I mean, look at all the times Andre was talking about his mom constantly playing this game.
That's awesome.
And it's really exciting to actually see that this game really held a bunch of people that normally aren't even used to video games. And I think that says a lot for what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've noticed that with special, not just gamers, but celebrities, people who, just family members. I think Andre's parents, I think Andre's mom got into it. Yep. So it's been pretty crazy how many people have been getting into the Animal Crossing series because of New Horizons who haven't even been able a chance to play New Leaf. And New Leaf was portable too, so you'd think that it would have gotten a lot of people, and it did. But this probably far more.
Yeah, I mean, Chris kind of touched upon the good timing of the release of this game.
Yeah.
I definitely think that helped because it was a new game that was very, very friendly to any sort of casual video game player.
Right.
That it basically became the answer for a bunch of people to the whole situation that started happening. Of, okay, can't go out and see my friends. Well, let me get games I can play with my friends. And
Bingo.
this was definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was so perfect. I mean, I don't think it could have worked out any better. I mean, obviously, I don't want the other situations surrounding the release of Animal Crossing to have occurred.
Right.
But, as far as this game in particular, it was the perfect time. It really brought people together. And it was kind of a match made in heaven, really. And, I wish, for as much as I wish that momentum could have stayed strong throughout the last year, the last 12 months, it hasn't, unfortunately. Personally, a lot of my friends who played the game, who, weren't very into games, who certainly hadn't played an Animal Crossing title beforehand, but got New Horizons and were really engaged with it for a long time, pretty much all those people have dropped off now, and I get it. I would have loved for that energy to have kept going, and I think it could have through the updates that we didn't get, which is unfortunate. But that said, I thought it was a good year overall. I don't think it'll ever reach a point, the point where it was before, and that's okay. It was just such a magical time, and it's going to be really hard for any game to recapture that.
I think the only real comparison I could think of is when Pokemon Go came out back in 2016.
Yeah.
When everyone was on that, going out, playing, catching Pokemon, and socializing because of it. And I think Animal Crossing New Horizons is the closest we've had to kind of replicating what happened there. Completely different circumstances and situation, but in terms of the large scale effect this had on so many people and how many people it reached.
Yes, absolutely. Reflecting back on the entire year, we've seen a lot of updates. We're already in version 1.9.0, and we've seen a lot of new things come, but a lot of things are still not here from New Leaf. Now, I'm not sure if Nintendo plan to release some of the things that people are expecting from New Leaf. I'm sure they will to some degree, at least the popular ones. But we have to understand that this is going to be more reflective of the Japanese audience as opposed to anywhere else, even though I'm sure they're listening to other audiences as well. But as we kind of already went over, it's very accessible and digestible. I think pulling back a bit and make it not too overwhelming for new players. I think in some ways that's really good for getting the newer audiences. But for those who've been playing for a long time, it seems a little different. It's like, why are all these features missing? Or I understand where they're going for. From a business perspective, that is very common to approach it in a way that will keep people engaged over time. And not just have this big swath of people and then just no updates or nothing to get people excited. Some people are just not always wanting DLC, like just small bits of DLC. They want to see large pieces. I understand that, but as a player who's been playing this since the mid 2000s, mid noughties, it's a little different. But I've been okay with it so far.
I think the pacing for it has actually been fine. It's not like the updates only come like once every 6 months. Like they're actually pretty frequent. And I think it works perfectly for the casual audience to ease them into a bunch of things.
Yes.
And while some updates are small, even with DLC, whether they add new extra paid things or not, I think the fact that we're getting... hopefully not.
We already seen too much of that with podcast.
That is very true. Just the fact that over time we're getting the features that were in New Leaf and other Animal Crossing games over time, I think is a good sign that they will add more. I mean, look at what came with this most recent update. We got the Sanrio amiibo cards from the Welcome Amiibo update to New Leaf, which is
absolutely,
in my opinion, a really great sign because I want Wolf Link back. But
yeah,
I'd
like
to
see all those
character
characters too.
Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, we saw way back in, I understand it was way back in May, but characters do come. We saw Leaf, we saw Red, so they will come. And we saw even cameos like with Rover during May Day. But I'm sure we'll see more like that. There will be a lot of people who are asking for that, especially in Japan, for characters who maybe we haven't seen since Wild World and City Folk. We don't know.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And on the topic of that, the Mayday update, I got to say that was one of my favorite updates for the game, just because it added a lot. It added Leaf and Red, and I think that update was super fun. Although at the same time, it kind of it set the bar pretty high, I would say personally, for future updates to come, and a lot of updates that came after didn't quite live up to it. Like, they would add new features, but they didn't add like new characters and new kind of personalities in the way that one did. And it also came pretty much exactly a month after the game first released, so it was like the perfect amount of time. It had been a month. People were, sort of used to the game now. People who were holding off for a while might have finally picked it up. And yes, I do feel the same way that, I am very hopeful that they'll keep bringing in new features as the game goes on. But at the same time, I don't want to sound depressing about it. I obviously want this game to be as great as it can be. I just would have loved for it to happen quicker. Like, that's the most blunt way I can put it.
Yeah.
This game, I feel like it lost a lot of the audience that it could have kept. It could have kept up with if more features were brought in as the game went on. And it's been a year. And plus, I mean, the world is reaching a point where there's finally a light at the end of the tunnel, right? So the situation that brought us together so much in this game is kind of gonna pass at some point, and I just don't think, I don't want to sound so negative.
Right.
It's just kind of a bummer to me that I feel like if this game didn't reach the point I would have loved for it to reach as far as its longevity, and I don't think it'll ever reach that point, unfortunately.
Yeah, like the highest point for the game has passed. Even if they get like a super solid update at this point, majority of the larger audience has moved on. Now there's just the more dedicated players.
Right.
Whether that's casual players turn dedicated players, that's up for a whole different kind of discussion. But it's basically people who are simply casually on it, checking it every now and then. They're more than likely dropped off a big update that adds like, I don't know, Brewster's Cafe, for example, won't really bring them back in. But to the more dedicated players, it might, Gyroids, to the more dedicated players, it might make them rush back to it. But that's definitely a smaller audience than the larger whole.
I think it's like with the Welcome Amiibo update, if they have something like that and they don't wait too long for it, it could bring a lot of people back if they do the promotion well. The problem with New Leaf is that they took way too long. It was not just a year. I don't even think it was
4
just
years.
2 Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. It was like 4 years, wasn't
no
it?
one cared. I'm not saying no one cared. I'm sure a lot of people did. I definitely looked into it because I love Panel de Pone. I love the whole lip thing. But a lot of people will not wait 4 years for a large update, and if Nintendo do that, a lot of people may not care at that point. This is a good moment to drop something like that. Do it this year.
Yeah.
So I guess before we get, well, actually no, you know what? This will be a good opportunity to do this. What updates do you guys want to see for this second year then? Not to go too far, we'll definitely go back to talk about reflecting on year one, but this works as a nice segue here.
Yeah,
I got that stuff. Well, I think they gave some examples already with the recent Super Mario update in time for Mario Day, fortunately. I would like to see more Nintendo stuff, more Nintendo promotions. Obviously Zelda, right, Tris?
Yes, please.
Give us those characters, give us the items, give us everything.
We've seen a lot of these since GameCube. I think even Dobutsu no Mori. So I don't know why I don't know why Nintendo are waiting this long. But it's also the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see it this year. We'll see some Zelda this year. Like I mentioned before, the gyroids. I've been wanting to see this for a long, long time. I want to see some more interactive items. Items that you can buy that you can almost play little mini games with. We kind of saw that with New Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
The Pound of Pong, because I think you play the little 3DS, all of a sudden you can play this Pound of Pong game. And you can also play that the adventure one.
Right.
I think it was the Wii U?
Yeah, I think it was.
It's a little Wii U item?
It was essentially the minigame from Amiibo Festival.
Gotcha. Yeah, I actually haven't played that one. I never. Played
I only remember that from trailers. So I don't know how I managed to remember that.
Yeah. We don't talk about Amiibo Festival.
Right.
Yeah. But I guess
I
that would be
heard
interesting
it.
because there's several Switch items in the game. So there's like the Switch, there's the Switch Lite, there's the Animal Crossing Switch. You could definitely use those to boot up some minigames.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that, Matthew. Like, it's what I would love more interactive items and activities or like attractions you can put on your island. This is something I touched on with Triss. We did a discussion maybe like a month or two back about kind of hopes for this update that we just got now, the big kind of 1 year March update. And unfortunately, I don't really think any of those hopes ended up being real. But one of the things I talked about was more kind of, I want my island to feel less like stagnant, I guess, less just kind of stationary. I'd love more stuff to do within the island. And there's a lot of possibilities for that that haven't been realized at all.
Right.
As even
like
just
Katrina's
looking back
tent.
to the history of the series.
Yeah. We haven't seen anything that appears such as Katrina's tent that you can actually enter and see a new location. The only exception I think was, of course, Red's treasure trawler.
Yeah.
What I also like to see, and I've been wanting to see this for a long time, at least since I've seen Konami's Animal Crossing clone. I don't know if anyone remembers that. There was a game called Magician's Quest on the Nintendo DS.
Doesn't sound familiar to me.
The Japanese name has like 365 days of magic or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, check it out sometime. It is really interesting. It never got popular like Animal Crossing, of course, but
right.
Konami wanted to cash in on that popularity at the time. Wild World was kind of new at the time, and it had its popularity. And then I think they did it again for the 3DS, but I can't really find much about the 3DS version. But it was interesting because not only had other characters, but they also even had caves. I want to see a cave.
Ooh.
That would be really interesting.
You can have new creatures. Why
not? It gives me like Stardew Valley vibes. Like, give us a cave that we can go into and like fight monsters. That probably wouldn't fit.
Well, the monster. Yeah, it's not the monster. You'll scare a lot of people.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
But maybe just some harvesting in there. Obviously, can catch some sea creatures like fish in there because I think that's what they did in Magician's Quest. But also, like cave bugs, and there were a lot of gemstones that were in New Leaf, but that weren't in New Horizons, like the emeralds, the rubies, silver ore, I think, sapphire.
I think so. Yeah. I think it's really interesting hearing all these, actually, because it makes me realize just how much they really could still add to New Horizons. Because, like, the main thing that comes to mind for me, it's really only one thing that I outside of the Zelda stuff, of course, and, getting Wolflink back. I want to see that pier on everyone's island actually have a use, and I want Cap'n to come back and bring it to, like, a mini-game island.
I think
that's what I want.
I think that's the reason for that pier. I don't think it's just to catch fish. I think they were preparing in advance for the possibility of Cap'n.
That's a good point.
I hope it happens.
I hope it happens sooner rather than later. It's just like, for me, it's just like, it's been so long, come on. But I'm impatient. What can I say? I don't have many specific things that I want to see, honestly, because by this point I have no clue what they have planned for this, how much effort they're gonna put in here on out. I hope it's a lot. But for me, like what I need personally to stay engaged with this is like I want something big, like a big change, a big new thing, and I don't even know what that is. Just bring something new to the table. Whether that's like a cave that introduces these new like materials and stuff, or yeah, Captain's minigame, island, whatever. Just like there's gotta be some big thing to pull me back, because you know, like this 1 year anniversary, for example, had a lot of small things. I wouldn't say there's like one big thing that's a part of it. And that's just not enough for me, and I imagine for other people who are
I would
dropped
say
off like me.
I would say the biggest thing really is just for people that still actively play, and that's more custom design slots. Like,
yeah, that's probably the biggest thing, yeah.
that is
we're
actually
seeing
pretty
that right
big,
now,
but
yeah.
it took way too long to get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of hoping they also give some more quality of life updates, such as with
Yes,
the multi-craft.
yeah, crafting in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. Faster. I mean, obviously, talking to Orville at the airport, make that faster, make that less clunky. But yeah, those things would be great too.
Yeah, quality of life updates would be good. I'm not bothered by the fact that they didn't, because I think it appeals more to the patient casual players as is. But obviously, if there's room for improvement, they could. But
Right. And I'm pretty sure people would be upset if we didn't mention this, but the breaking items. I have not ever seen gold items break before. Maybe they can come up with diamond or platinum. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or just change this. It's kind of silly. There's not much reason to craft golden items, or golden tools. It's you're using up a golden nugget, and it increases the durability, but that's about it. There aren't even new features except for the watering can, I believe.
yeah, not a good payoff, basically.
No.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess as a segue back to the actual, reflecting on the 1 year, whether it was a holiday or a specific update, or maybe just from launch, do you guys have a favorite memory? A specific favorite memory from the first year with New Horizons?
Oh, this is definitely something I should have prepared before.
Same here.
That I don't. I talked about how
I
May
could go
Day,
first
but,
if you need me to.
Please do, Tristan. That would be great.
Go for it.
So, it was tough to think on at first, because there was so much going on in the first year that every time I booted up, there was always something to make me smile at some point, whether it was just chilling on the island with friends and just doing small little things, or going to my one friend's island who had basically translated his Sims addiction into this game, so he made his island 5-star kind of thing, and wanted to redo it every season. And there's so much to talk about, but I think the one that really stands out to me is New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve into the whole countdown and everything.
Oh yeah.
The charm with that, having all the islanders there. I had I was in a voice chat with 10 of my friends at the time, and I was just streaming the island for me. So some friends were actually there, some people were just watching from the stream, and we treated that as our actual New Year's celebration, and it was
That's awesome.
really nice. And after it all ended, it's wow, I don't want to close the game. This just feels really happy, and I think I left it up while all my friends and I just kept talking for 2 hours after that. 2 hours I was just standing in the plaza,
That's so cool.
setting off little fireworks,
That's so cool.
poppers, waving the glow sticks around, letting the villagers dance. And it was really sweet. And
Yeah.
that will always stand out to me as probably my favorite moment in this game.
That it was a really great moment. We did that too, actually. In the Discord, GameXplain Discord server, we actually did that. There was only one member who actually was able to join us, because we did it for the patrons. And Frequent Positron actually joined for that. So, but it was cool. We have recording for that, so we're gonna use that recording.
Nice.
Nice.
With we got permission, of course.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite memory was it's pretty similar, Tris, to yours. It happened closer to the game's launch, though, and it wasn't. I don't think it was tied around any specific update or event, but it was just I was streaming the game on my old channel before I joined GameXplain, and it was it was a pretty small channel, so I'd have like maybe 10 or 12 people on each stream, but we had like a nice little community, and it was nice in that sense.
Yeah.
And I streamed Animal Crossing New Horizons for the first time. I think it was in April or May, so it was like a month or two after the game released. And I invited everyone on the stream to come to my island. And
nice.
Of course, about like 25 minutes later, after we had gone through all the loading screens of everyone traveling, we finally were on the island, and everyone was just like there, and everyone had their own costumes, and we were like talking with the with the texting chat feature in the game, and it like worked pretty well. Like you can see the little thought bubble appear whenever people say something. And I just like showed people around my island. We like ran around the museum. I think we even tried to organize like a game of tag or hide and seek, and it was just like the most fun, magical thing. Like I don't have enough like friends who I'm close to in real life like to come to my island like to max out how many people you can have, but like on that stream they're not people that like I know very well, but still it was people who like enjoyed my videos, and so it was cool like us all like getting to like meet each other in the game. That was a really fun experience.
That does sound really nice.
I think we all feel this same way when it comes to the interactivity. I definitely enjoyed playing the fishing tourney with the patrons. That was it's usually been with the patrons. I mean, I've played with other people before too, but never larger gatherings other than the patrons, because I opened it up it was on Saturdays, so that was always a good opportunity to do that at the time, and it was really fun. Getting all together and just trying to time it and like 3, 2, 1. It was really fun. That's definitely a huge highlight for me. There are some. I'm sure there's some highlights that was just personal where I was just playing alone, but I think it really bolsters it a lot when you're playing with other people. I really do enjoy that interactivity. And they did that pretty well, except the connecting to an island. It is not good. It is on the slow side.
Yeah, I will definitely not sugarcoat that. It is awful how long that takes. Like, it is bad. Well, I mean, if you're playing with just like 1 or 2 other people, it's one thing. It's okay, because you're willing to wait. But when you're inviting lots of people over to your island, it's a bit of a
if you're just going to some other island for something like for business purposes, and all of a sudden it's like I can't move at all because people keep coming.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. Like by this point, I don't think they're ever gonna change it or improve it. So I'm just gonna like live with it. Like it's fine.
Same.
But
I do love the museum. Fair. Oh, the museum's so good. That is a personal highlight for me. Just building that museum, because it's just been so beautiful. I wasn't too into it when at first I was like, I missed the New Leaf one, and then as I saw it grow, because once you get to fish, bugs, and sea creatures, the museum details start developing. It's not just the creatures, the plants, the environment. They start to appear. It's something I noticed as I was doing that, and I just love how it looks out. It's actually complete. Mine is complete now.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
A complete museum.
Yeah.
100%.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's something I forget, actually, how much fun it was to collect like fossils, but especially the creatures like area of the museum, seeing all like the wildlife come to life, and then there's like butterflies flying around everywhere once you fill it up. That was really fun. That was a really I forget how just cool that was, kind of filling up that whole space, and every time you find a new bug or whatever it is, it's like, oh yes, I haven't seen that one before. That was really great.
Maybe we'll get.
I personally love that. Oh, that would be cool.
Yes.
That would be cool. I personally love that with the aquarium section specifically. So like all the fish and sea creatures. Just something about the mood there. It feels so good. Just like to wander around that with the
and
fish.
music.
Yeah. So do you guys have any final thoughts on the Animal Crossing's 1-year anniversary?
I would say not really. I mean, I'd say just generally, I think I love New Horizons, and my memories of it are always going to be so, wonderful and magical. I think for me, it's going to be really hard for the game to recapture my attention or engagement in the way it did before, and that's, not even to the fault of the game or the developers. It's just like the nature of, over time, you just become less interested in a thing, especially when it's something like this that's in its nature, somewhat repetitive, in a sense. And but that doesn't take away from the fact that I love this game and I love my memories with it, and I hope it can keep me engaged. But I mean, we've hit the 1 year mark, and so it's either gonna do that or it's not. There's kind of
Yeah.
I've reached the point where I'm either gonna keep playing the game a lot if something big happens, or I'm pretty much just gonna stop. Like that weird kind of halfway, like sort of playing the game sometimes. I don't think I'm gonna keep that up for much longer, unfortunately.
It's hard to say for me what I'll do going forward. I'm sure I'm going to keep with it to some degree. I think in past games, I usually took about a year and a half to 2 years. I'm not really sure. I can't remember. Yeah, I liked the updates over time, but we're still waiting for more, and that's kind of a disappointment that it's taking this long. Hopefully Nintendo have something big planned. But I did like to cover things that I didn't get a chance to cover before. I really did love how beautiful the graphics and music are.
Oh, yes.
Just
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
definitely.
Now I know a lot of people didn't care too much for the hourly music. I thought it was good. I think some of the tracks are really good. Some of them are like okay, but the new holiday themes are really good remixes.
I listened to the Bunny Day music on
It's good.
repeat. It's so good. It gives me like Peanuts vibes, like Charlie Brown. I don't know what it is.
Yes, it is good.
So
And
like
Toy
nostalgic.
Day. Oh, the Toy Day one.
Yeah,
oh gosh,
so
I love
good.
that. Such a beautiful one. And Festival, we'll get into that. This is a little hint towards something if it's not already out right now as a time of this being public. But yeah, we're working on something really interesting right now. Just check out Melodies of Gaming when you can. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, just I like that they did different holidays that they couldn't cover in the game in the same way that they've done in the past. They at least put them in Nook Stop. So they got the Shamrock Day. They did a lot of the Japanese and Korean holidays, and even some in Europe. That was really cool. Also love the character customization options. They've been increasing that quite a bit, and I love that you can do it on the fly. For the most part,
That's huge. That's awesome.
like the wand outfits and the clothes, and it's really good because I wasn't a huge fan. It was kind of an interesting thing back in the day, but it's not a good thing now where you are stuck with your features. That's not a good thing. So I'm glad that you're allowed to change that up.
It is really nice to see, honestly, and it just makes it more accessible and more fun, because that's
Indeed.
definitely something a lot of people spend most of their time doing.
Right. Yeah, it's good. With 3 characters that I got going on here, is I'd say mostly if those who haven't seen, my main character is basically Princess Peach. So I changed that up to the recent Mario items. And then we have 2 other characters, Dark Matilda and Light Matilda. So it was kind of interesting because those characters can basically shapeshift. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah, it's like part of the OC canon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of fun too, because people can represent their characters in Animal Crossing as well. It's like, oh look, this is my character that people may or may not have seen elsewhere.
Yeah, no, and I think that's part of what makes it fun. You get to you have like so much creative freedom. I guess to give my thoughts on just like a final thing, I think with Mario Day, the stuff they added for Mario Day, I do wish they added more. Like, I wish there was like something related to Bowser, for example. I'm kind of shocked there wasn't.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
But and it's odd to me, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if this was the only. I wouldn't be surprised if they did more updates, so like a more Mario stuff coming later on, kind of thing. They could just end there, and it would be a little disappointing, but that's okay. It kind of feels like they did just the right amount of things missing to do more, like Waluigi's costume, Daisy's costume,
Yeah,
Rosalina costume.
Where's the Peach's parasol?
Yeah, there you go.
That wasn't moved.
Yeah, like there's a decent amount of items still missing that I think they could very easily bring back, or not necessarily bring back, but add in that could be like a set B, so to say. If all this stuff was set A, then that could be set B. I don't know. Maybe they won't, but it just came to mind.
I think
The other thing, yeah, that's fair. The other thing was, don't they normally do like little videos showcasing the updates right before they come out, and then it ends with the next update, and then it shows a tease for like what it is? Did they do that this time for the 1 year anniversary update?
They didn't have a video with it, I don't think. They just posted an article that kind of goes over everything. So which is a little odd.
Yeah, because this is like the first time we don't have a tease for when the next update is or what it is.
Maybe they want.
Yeah, that's a good point. There was no mention of it, and I know. Yeah, and I know that because I made a video about it, going over all the stuff because there wasn't just like a trailer I could just like record and then post on GameXplain. It was a little harder to kind of figure out what outline everything that's new because it was like an article, but then like the Japanese one had like more didn't mention like the Nook Link app functionality. The UK one did. It's a little strange.
Yeah, it is a little odd, and it makes me wonder what the future of this game is going to look like.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do that, and that's like one of the first times they didn't do that.
Yeah, it's really hard to know. It's hard to know what the future is going to look like for this. But
well,
hopefully
considering how popular the game has been and how much is how successful it's been overall, I'm pretty sure Nintendo will reflect on that and actually do something if they haven't already been planning.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be it. I don't think it's just going to be these little trickle updates and then you're never going to have something big. I think they do have something big planned for it. But that's just a personal opinion. It's not. It doesn't mean okay, this is going to happen though. But
I sure hope so.
Yep. No, I definitely agree. I think there will be something. And I guess as a lead into my actual final thought I have listed here, I really do hope that last thing is adding in the Zelda characters, at minimum the ones from New Leaf. So like Wolflink, Medley, Ganon, Epona.
I'm a big Zelda fan too.
Give us Rivali as another one. As like a fun bird one.
That'd be kind of interesting.
But if they actually add Wolflink back, I will go back to playing this game avidly daily to make that lad my best friend again. Because I did that in New Leaf, and if he comes back, there we go.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic.
Alrighty. Well, I think that wraps up this discussion. But what do you guys think of Animal Crossing New Horizons now that we've reached the 1 year anniversary? Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. With that, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for plenty more on Animal Crossing and other things gaming as well. Check out the videos on the right for more content you might be interested in. Until next time, farewell.